Detective Hercule Poirot? Ah, Chief Commissioner. On the contrary, it is a most convenient time. The safe passage of a painting? Tell me everything. If man was meant to travel the oceans in such conditions, he would surely have been given his own fins. A distraction is what one needs. Where is that blasted contact? How is one to prepare for an assignment if one does not have all of the required information? Very well. I shall wait no longer.
Beautiful, isn't she?
Pardon, monsieur?
The open water. There really is nothing quite like her.
When one suffers from the mal de mer, the beauty, as you say, is rather more a burden.
Forgive me, I just can't imagine being scared of the ocean in this day and age. The potential to see the world is open to even the ordinary man like us.
I can assure you, monsieur, it is not a matter of being scared. And as for ordinary...
I didn't mean to offend, mister.
I am...
Forgive me, madame.
No harm done. Accidents happen. My cigarette case, where is it?
I didn't see.
You thought I wouldn't notice? A young lady traveling alone. An easy target for you, I bet.
I'm sure the young lady would appreciate the help of two handsome strangers.
Ah. Huh. Oh. Huh. Oh. The young lady should not be left to guide. You are returning home?
I am.
Besides your educated accent, the crest that adorns your cigarette case, it is of British origin.
Very observant. It's the crest of my family, and the case belonged to my mother. I take it everywhere with me. Miss Florence Farquhar, a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
The pleasure is ours.
That looks like everything.
Is this what you're looking for?
It is! Thank you, Miss...
Miss Babanin. Anastasia Babanin.
Anastasia. What a beautiful name.
It was my grandmother's.
Well, that's everything now. I can't...
I'd be happy to escort you. Here, I'll take your bag.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. Cabin 4. I'll be right behind you. Anastasia, perhaps I can offer you a token of my gratitude in the bar later.
That would be lovely.
And you, Mr...
Detective Hercule Poirot, at your service.
A detective? I was not expecting to meet such a distinguished gentleman on board.
I did not expect to meet someone of Russian descent on a ship between the great city of Antwerp and Dover.
I never mentioned where I was from either.
One did not have to. Anastasia, of Russian origin meaning resurrection.
And here was me, thinking I was special.
Your knowledge of my heritage is most impressive.
And I'll take that as my cue to leave.
It seems it's just us remaining.
I would very much like to hear stories from your homeland. Perhaps you would join me in the restaurant.
As charming as that would be, I'm feeling right.
Then I shall leave you to your slumber. Adieu. As much as I enjoyed the delights of the restaurant, I still found my mind drifting back to Mademoiselle Babagna. She really was quite charming. I have spent the first part of this excursion neglecting my duties. It's time to the combination was not a difficult one to remember. 1815, the Battle of Waterloo. Et voilà. Time to... One cannot ignore such a...
My mother's cigarette case! It's gone! How could somebody do this?
Mademoiselle, I ask that you take a moment to calm.
You're a detective, of course! What luck!
As luck would have it, one of Belgium's finest. Now, I require as many details of the crime as you can offer.
I came to my cabin and began unpacking. I couldn't get the safe working, but the gentleman that helped me with my luggage showed me how it works. Afterwards, I went for a brief walk, and when I returned, the safe was open, and my cigarette case was gone.
We must consider the suspect list. Those who were aware of the cigarette case's existence.
That can only be those who were up on the deck when my luggage spilled. Miss Babagnin, the porter, yourself.
And your helpful stranger.
Yes, of course.
I ask that you gather them for me. And while you are absent, I shall begin my investigation in here, if Mademoiselle permits.
Whatever you need to do to find it.
Aha. Aha. Huh. Ah.
Mademoiselle, I thought you would be returning with the gentleman also.
The gentleman wanted to speak to the porter alone first.
I was unaware he is also a detective.
He's not a policeman. He works in insurance, I believe.
It appears I shall be spending my time chasing amateur detectives around the ship.
Mademoiselle, I would like to start with who had access to the safe combination.
No one. It was in a sealed envelope that was waiting for me when I arrived. I memorized it and threw the paper overboard. 4385. It's really not that difficult.
A similar envelope was waiting for me upon my arrival. The date of the Battle of Waterloo, as I recall.
After the gentleman helped me with the safe, he left.
If the mysterious gentleman is behind the theft, he went to great lengths to hide his fingerprints, but did little to hide his movements in Mademoiselle Farquhar's cabin. There are many questions that require answers, answers I believe he may hold. Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius. Aha.
Mademoiselle Farquhar, I shall have your cigarette case returned to you before we...
I hope so. You caught me.
I must say you raise a very interesting point. Art should have no social boundaries.
Thank you. Yes, I'm ready.
You have been invited to a preview at the Royal Edward...
Will you be in attendance? I was lucky enough to have a sneak peek at some of the pieces on show.
Lucky? Merci, mademoiselle.
Mademoiselle Babagnan. I'm sorry we must continue.
On the contrary, what fantastic luck that you are here. Now I get to see you at work. I'm afraid I've done very little, actually. After we parted ways, I went to my cabin. I had barely unpacked.
Alone?
That is a rather personal question, don't you think, Detective? I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. A poor attempt at a joke. Yes, I was alone.
There is no need to be nervous. And then?
And then I was woken up by Florence's scream. I have never heard something so terrifying.
You have been most helpful, mademoiselle.
Oh. Oh.
I'm sorry, but it's just not acceptable, Mark.
I've apologized to the lady.
And that makes everything all right?
It was an accident.
An accident that could have been avoided if you hadn't spent your morning drinking.
Gentlemen, you are behaving like two young boys in the schoolyard.
Huh.
Is Mademoiselle Farquhar aware you are acting as her knight in shining?
I wouldn't go as far as that. I'm Arthur Hastings.
She requested you to follow her to her cabin, no?
Oh, yes, she did, but I wanted to...
Speak with the porter privately? This was part of your...
Well, I'm not a detective. I was just...
Then perhaps you will answer some questions that are vital to my investigation.
What can I do? It is. Is my employment relevant to Miss Farquhar's missing cigarette case?
I hope you will entertain me for a moment. What would you say the chances of...
Well, a report from a detective like yourself will certainly help expedite her...
As I thought. It had perhaps not crossed her mind before. But being amongst an officer of the law and an insurance man, the idea of...
When Florence, Miss Farquhar, told me that something had gone missing from her safe,
How so?
I'd rather not say with him
It is not I that controls the volume of your voice.
You must have noticed the smell of beer on his breath. I wouldn't put it past a man that drinks on the...
That is quite the accusation. And if you were correct, you wish to settle the matter...
I wanted to give him what for, but... I'm what some would call a middleman. I oversee the handling of recently sold items and put the buyer in...
The mention of insurance initially sparked my attention. But the more he talks of his work, I believe he may be my mysterious contact from Lloyd's of London.
It was your work that took you to... I can't go into too many details, but I'm actually... I'm meant to be meeting an official of some sorts that's supposed to be helping me, but...
And it is confirmed. It concerns me that my supposed trusted colleague has found himself involved in the middle of my investigation. I will continue to withhold my true identity and see how Monsieur Hastings' involvement concludes.
Merci, monsieur.
This really is an exciting case. Anything I...
Your enthusiasm has been...
Aha.
Perhaps you and I can have a more civilized...
I'll tell you the same as I told your friend. I will not be bullied.
Intimidation is not my forte. What is uncovering the identity...
And that's me?
That is what I am yet to conclude.
Who said anything about drinking alcohol?
It does not take a detective to identify the distinct odor on one's breath.
Maybe one to calm my nerves. My sea legs aren't here yet, that's all. I was in the cargo hold, cutting something with my knife, and it slipped. No harm done.
I'm not quite sure you understand what that means.
So now I am a stupid and a drunk?
Do you have the knife in question on your person?
I don't. He stole it and won't return it.
What can I do for you?
Ah. Ah. Huh.
Oui, monsieur.
I shall let you return.
Of course. Whatever you... Insured? Oh no, why would I have it insured?
Anything of substantial monetary...
I'll stop you there, Detective. The cigarette case itself is hardly worth 2 pennies, but to me? Not for a second. At least not with my permission. You probably think this silly, naive woman has left her valuables out, or I've just misplaced them. But I assure you, that is not me.
It had not crossed my mind for even a moment. Is there something I am not seeing? Order and method. That is the way to solve the... I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a... The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
Of course. Whatever...
Merci, mademoiselle.
You could ask me anything.
You have been most helpful, madame. Magnifique! A fingerprint. Now?
You found one, detective? Oh, how exciting! I suppose you'll... You could ask me anything. Am I to be used as your guinea pig?
I would not dare compare you to a guinea pig. Would you be so kind?
The answer is yes, of course. I have nothing to hide.
Oui,
I shall let you return to your...
What a revelation! I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. one step closer to revealing the truth. I must consider the suspects I have in front of me. Monsieur Hastings. He is keen to impress Mademoiselle Farquhar and claims that Mark Allard, the porter. Evidence suggests a rather amateur attempt to break into the safe, but it was just a ruse. The safe was opened quite masterfully, leaving only signs of a poorly attempted break-in. Mademoiselle Babagnan, a new friend to Mademoiselle Farquhar, I cannot see a motive besides the obvious value of the cigarette case. But Mademoiselle Farquhar has... Perhaps the best thing for me would be to return to my cabin to think. I fear my legs...
Ah, detective. How goes the investigation?
A good detective, better yet, a great detective, will find motive, me.
She found it! Miss Babagnan found it! Oh, thank heavens!
I was on my way to speak with the captain when I saw something shining underneath one of those pipes.
Strange that it was not spotted earlier by any one of us.
Maybe the thief was scared and dumped it for fear of being caught red-handed.
Miss Babagnan, Anastasia, you saved the day. I can't And you, of course, detective.
I find Mademoiselle Babagnan's explanation of finding the cigarette case rather coincidental. But without... The cigarette case has been returned and the coast is in sight, which is what is important. Although, there still remains a part of me that craves the truth.
I suppose you can chalk that up as a victory.
A victory for Mademoiselle Farquhar, but not in the eyes of the law.
Well, if anyone asks, I'll confirm what a splendid...
Very kind, monsieur. While we are on the matter of truth, Monsieur Arthur Hastings, you are here to oversee...
How on earth?
You are aware of my employment, but not of my true identity. Detective Hercule Poirot.
Wait, are you the official that I was supposed to have met on board?
Oui, monsieur. Please, accept my apologies for keeping my true identity hidden. When it comes to the nature of our work, trust must be...
A little unorthodox, but I suppose I understand. So, you can trust me now?
It continues to grow.
Well, we have a couple of weeks before the gala, so hopefully, by then, you'll trust me with your life.
One can hope.
don't think I'll ever stop being amazed seeing such incredible pieces up close.
One would certainly hope not.
Oh. Ah.
What do you gentlemen think of this particular piece?
Can it really be?
To a layman, perhaps. I'm afraid it's a complete fake.
No. Such eloquent and delicate work.
Very observant. But that doesn't make it authentic. You know, even Michelangelo himself was an... See if you can spot the telltale sign of a forgery.
Aha. Aha. Oh.
The craquelure is inconsistent across the painting. Sure.
Very impressive, Detective. Unconvincing aging is one of the most common giveaways of a forgery, whether it be in the craquelure, the smells of chemicals used to artificially age the painting, pigments that haven't dulled with age. Sometimes it's as simple as the materials used just not existing at the time of painting. The trustees were quite excited by its arrival, but it didn't take me long to identify its faults.
Quite the detective yourself, Mademoiselle Warbeck.
Please, call me Evelyn.
If there's one thing I've learned in the short time I've spent with the detective here, formalities and politeness are essential.
They are a cornerstone of modern civilization and must be upheld.
This city could benefit from more gentlemen like yourself.
Now that the etiquette of our greetings has been decided,
I was hoping you'd say that. The exhibition area needs to be secured. I wonder if you would be able to lock the remaining doors for me? I'll lock the west wing door when I'm finished there. And if you could tie this ribbon around the handles of the main door for me, I'll leave it outside.
if securing the exhibition room is what Mademoiselle Warbeck requires, that is what shall be done.
Detective Poirot, have you ever seen some...
Monsieur Hastings, everything has beauty. It is...
Yes.
Oui, I am. Mademoiselle Warbeck requested I prepare a ribbon over the main exhibition room door before... Once I have done that, the restoration room door shall be locked, and our work for the...
Huh. Huh.
Miss Warbeck did ask you to make it look pretty.
One shall complete the task to the degree it is requested.
Oh yes, I see.
Everything is now ready for the arrival of the guests.
I assume you have the list of guests?
I am afraid not. It would usually be an essential part of my preparation.
Would you like me to find Miss Warbeck? There may still... Look, there's Miss Farquhar. With...
Seems that they became fast friends after the intrigue.
Intriguing how?
Speculation, monsieur. Nothing.
That head of yours is just constantly full of thoughts. Who's this?
I have no idea. But she's sure to turn heads with such a fetching dress.
I quite agree. And who is this?
Mon Dieu.
Wait a minute. Is that... Well, I never! Poirot, you devil! Forgive me. Where are my...
Goodness, Monsieur Demire. Poirot is more than adequate for an old friend.
He saves my family from near ruin, uncovers a murderous plan.
Allow me to introduce myself.
Heavens, my manners appear to have been replaced by surprise and excitement. Forgive me. Monsieur Demire, this is Monsieur Arthur Hastings.
You've got yourself a partner now.
Monsieur Hastings has been kind enough to show me the sights of London. A more than adequate guide.
I would take that. It's as often as a...
And what is it you do, Mr. Demire?
A previous field medic, Monsieur Demire now finds himself working for... With his brother, doing most honorable...
Need I say more?
Could everyone gather together for a photograph, please? Would you all move a bit closer together for me, please?
I didn't realize we were going to be in the newspaper.
Is that a problem?
No, not at all. I just want the camera to get my best side.
Okay, if everyone is ready.
So, Poirot, what on earth are you doing here anyway?
My orders were to see to the safe travel of the centerpiece of the exhibition, the penitent Magdalene. Monsieur Hastings here travels with me, covering any administrations and insurance requirements.
Art protection? That's a bit beneath the great Hercule Poirot.
Perhaps you would be so kind as to...
Where's the fun in that? We have to make sure...
You are referring to my little Grace.
Little grey cells, yes. I've been playing a little game. I've been trying to find a painting to match each of the guests. I wondered, Poirot, do you think you can ascertain which I can give you a little info, but... Miss Irene Courtsmith. She's one you'll want to keep your eye on in the... Born and raised on a rather affluent estate, she turned her back on her parents in her teens to start a new life in London as an artist.
She's a very nice young lady.
Oh.
I was only making a comment on her nature, nothing untoward, I can assure you.
Or as we are all meant to refer to him as, the Honorable Reverend Horace Mountjoy. He's a man of the church. I'm not sure what else there is to say. If you're wanting to keep the lectures to a minimum, Mortimer Aylesworth. If you've not heard of him, I'd get familiar with the name. Eton and Cambridge educated, Johann Christiansen and his glamorous wife Betty Allen.
Betty Allen, the actress?
The very same. They've been here in London for a few years, although she still plays down her...
She did not take his name in marriage?
Allen is her maiden name. Works as her stage name too.
And his employment?
He's a partner for a private bank in London. He has told me what he actually does many times before. And many times, you will no doubt already know our host.
We have already made her acquaintance. Very pleasant, if not rather flustered by today's exhibition.
That's everyone. Well, there's Mr. Hastings here. I'm sure we shall get to know each other better. And our mystery woman.
Anastasia Babana. We met briefly while traversing the channel.
Look at you, Poirot.
Monsieur Demire, must I remind you of why I am here?
No. No need at all. I know you're strictly business. Let's see what you can do then. And come back to me when you know enough about the guests